This is really the Fighter and the Kid.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, Donnie's your buddy now. He's barking earlier. We got the great Jeff Dye.
What up,
great
guys?
cowboy Jeff Dye.
Team player Jeff Dye.
Dude, let me tell you
Handsome.
We're talking about how Jeff had a vasectomy. Dude, and I was telling you, you'd be a great dad. Dude, you as a baseball dad?
Ooh.
Hold on. You think you like
love that.
You think you like baseball now?
Yeah.
Listen, dude, I didn't give two flying fucks about baseball.
Yeah.
And my son got into baseball. I'm obsessed with baseball.
It's the best, isn't it?
Bro,
there's
my
so many things
Friday,
about it.
Saturday, Sunday when he has a tournament, bro, you would be the
love it.
ultimate dad.
Yeah, yeah.
The ultimate dad.
I'd also be like, let's just spend the money, make him the best. Like, let's get the bet. What's the new bat? We got that.
Oh, dude, they'll be like, there's this new pitching coach in town. I'm like, is he good? And they're like, yeah, he's good. And I'm like, how much? Like $170 for 30 minutes. I'm like,
Perfect.
Done. Here's 10 lessons.
It's also just
My
so
wife's like,
fun.
you have that money? I'm like, I don't know.
I saw this guy, this expert on Instagram talking to Adam Grant, who's a youngest professor in Wharton's history and really smart guy. And he said that all the data suggests that children make parents less happy. And I was like, who are you talking
Children
to?
make less.
I was like, what? He goes, yeah.
Who
I was
took
like,
that
who
survey?
took that survey?
Also,
Like,
what does he mean by happy? How do you even measure happy?
well, you know like what would I be doing if I didn't have kids and I didn't have people whose happiness was more important than my own? Like, what would I be doing? Eating out more, hanging out more? No thanks. Man.
Also,
no fucking thanks.
Not to sound like I know what like I'm enlightened or anything, because trust me, I'm not. But what is happy? Like,
Right.
the point of life is not to be happy. God's not calling you to be pious. The point of life is meaning.
You're not a puppy.
You're supposed to have purpose.
If you want to be happy, just get high and just sit around. And
Kids
eat
give you
Doritos.
purpose. Yeah,
Correct.
if you want to be happy, just jerk off and smoke weed all day.
guess.
Dude,
Good for
once
you.
I
With
once
that.
I have kids, I stop caring about so much shit.
Oh,
Notice
yeah.
I don't go on other pods. People are like, man, this would be really good for your image. I don't do it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm like,
You know,
I'm
I didn't
good.
like Dalia till he had kids.
Facts.
Watching Dalia
Facts.
become a dad
We said
was
this.
the most beautiful change ever. And it's not like I hated Dalia. It's just we were cut from a different cloth. We're not the same guy.
Completely different.
But then being humbled, he got very much humbled by the
Yeah.
industry and getting in trouble. And then he had 2 children, and he's a totally different guy.
I said
he's still
to
He's
nice guy.
still autistic, but he's actually a
called
good
him up.
autistic.
I
Yeah,
called him
but
up after seeing that special and seeing him talk about his dads and stuff, and then seeing him with his 2 kids.
Oh, yeah.
and how much he loves them. And you know what I said to him? I said, Chris, I know you've been through. First of all, let me just state this because you said it too. He was accused of something that he didn't do. Okay. And if you have trouble with that, take a look at the FBI and everybody else who investigated any notion that he had anything to do with anybody underage. Okay. That's a fucking lie. Okay?
Yeah, 100%.
That's a
No, he's
fucking
guilty
lie.
of being an asshole.
Sure. A
They're guilty.
womanizer,
And we
all
told him
that
this.
stuff.
We warned
Great.
him how many times?
Great. But what stuck was this myth
Yeah.
that somehow he was a pedophile or
Well,
some
it's
shit.
fun to tear things down, and that's what people like to do.
Disgusting.
But you can't jump on the other stuff.
what
You
I
can't
said-
jump on, oh, he fucked all these hot girls. You're
Right.
like,
Well, that was the funniest thing to me about
But
that
I-
documentary. Which wasn't a documentary; it was a hit piece.
Yeah.
And in the hit piece, that like I'm watching, I go, all right, let's see what my boy did here. Like, let's see where I fall on this. You know, I'm gonna be reasonable. I'm gonna be honest. And I'm watching it, and they're like, he had a girl come to his room and suck his dick, and then he told her to leave. And I'm like, wait, where's the crimes here?
If you were
Let's get
ever-
to the crimes.
Yeah. If you were ever
I mean,
at
he's
the
not romantic, I guess.
If you were
he's
ever
not-
at the Comedy Store, and you can attest that, if you were at the Comedy Store back in the day,
He was
when
Mick
you
Jagger.
saw
He was Mick
8
Jagger.
women at a time in groups would come to do that for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 women were like fighting over, like Rogan and I used to talk about it. It was like, I've never seen women throw themselves on that.
you and I
level
used to
at
always
Chris.
tell him, like,
But you don't hang out with me much. That's the problem.
Well,
you know?
you're a very handsome kid. You're a handsome kid. But when at the height of his powers, I've never seen anything like
Never.
it.
Yeah.
But I warned him. I would always say, dude,
I would say you warned him 100 times.
100 times.
Like every night you would close on that.
I'd be like
every night, it's 2 a.m. You'd be like, Chris, I'm telling you, dude, you got to tighten up.
These girls are going to start talking.
I'm telling you, it's not good, buddy.
Tighten up
You're
the
fucking
shit.
too many girls are upset with you.
What a problem, huh? Too many girls.
Too many girls.
Because they like you, and then you
Yeah.
know. But
That's such a funny warning Callan's giving them. Hey, you better figure out something. You got too much money.
But I called them up after I saw that special.
all this joy you're having.
People
Find
in
a way
there
to
laughing.
manage it.
That's what happens.
People in the comedy store are laughing a little too hard, Chris. Be careful.
Yeah, crushing rooms.
You could be a king, but don't be too much of a king.
But I would say now that Chris went through all that and he has a family, I said to him, I said, because I know he is, I said, I know this is a crazy thing to say, but it was worth it. I'm talking spiritually, morally. I'm saying
I think for him as a person,
it
because
created
if
a
you ever
better
hung out with
person.
Chris, and you've done that more than anyone, you've known him longer, but you know, me and Chris do a show together. It was always hard to connect with him on a personal. It was always superficial.
Yes.
Shoes, cars, always chains, all
Comedy,
that shit.
comedy.
Yeah, and then and there's always bitch. All right, dude.
Didn't have kids.
Yeah, and now he's actually a human being. Still
Yes.
autistic. I want to emphasize on that, but
yeah.
Chris is great.
Yeah, my experience with Chris was always at the clubs. I was just older, so I wasn't going to go out. I wasn't hanging out with him, outside of the comedy store or wherever. But
Chris doesn't hang out.
But I
That's
did a
the point.
podcast with him.
Chris
remember?
goes coffee.
Yep. Yeah.
He's either home,
Yeah.
drinking iced coffee, staring at the wall,
I used to
or
make fun of
he's
You know what
doing
I hated
comedy.
most about Chris back in the day? Most of everything is he found identity in not liking sports.
Yes,
And I was like,
same. Dude.
why are you making it your thing that you
know.
don't like sports? And I would, even though we didn't even really get along
And you're
or
such a
whatever,
sports guy.
I would still reply to his tweets like, "Ooh, you don't like sports?
Yeah, here we go
Hey,
again.
go sports!
Dude,
You
I'm
do those kind of
kidding.
things."
Yeah.
But now I'm getting him into sports.
Really?
He's watching basketball. I called him from WrestleMania
No
this weekend. I was like,
fucking
"I'm at
way.
WrestleMania." He goes, "Oh, cool."
Back in the
dude."
day, we were doing a 10-minute podcast, and he was going bad on sports, and it was the first time that he or any of us had seen a massive internet. So it was back when people were emailing and saying, you're a dick. Really coming down on
Yeah.
him making fun of sports.
I hated it. I
and
was
then
leading that charge.
The next
like
the next podcast, Chris said, "Hey, let me just take a minute. This is important. I made fun of sports. I got a lot of shit for it. I didn't realize the kind of feelings it would evoke. I didn't realize the kind of tidal wave of emails that we've gotten as a podcast. I didn't realize that I offended so many people because sports are part of the American experience, a part of being an American. It brings out the best in people.
Yeah, sports rule.
And I had it explained to me on such a deep level. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart to all of the people out there to eat a red dick.
Red dick.
Eat a big
Yeah, Chris
red
is the best.
dick. And just, we were like, please stop saying red dick.
Well, I think that the crazy part about it was I was with some people in this suite at WrestleMania, and they were huge Leah fans. And I was like, "Hey, he's my friend." And they're like, "No, I swear to God, I could call him right now if you want."
Yeah,
I love to
huge
do that. I love to do that, by the way, because my life has been so fun and blessed that often I'll tell a story, and if I don't show a picture to prove it,
They don't
people are like,
believe it.
"He's making this
Yeah.
up." So I was like, "I'll call Chris right now," and they're like, "All right." And the guy, before I called him, they're like, "You know that bit that he does where they were like, if you wear another man's shirt with
You can
his
fuck
name
him."
on it, he should be able to fuck you in the ass." And I completely ruined their moment of telling Chris's bit because they go, "I fucking hate that bit."
Yeah.
And they were like, "No, but you've heard it." I go, "I've heard it. I hate that
'Cause you and
fucking
I wear
bit. I
jerseys.
love
Me
sports.
too. That's
I
all.
wear jerseys."
Yeah, me too.
He had
It's
no
a
humor
stupid
about
bit.
that.
It's homophobic. I was
Yeah.
literally mad about it. Still, even just hearing them tell the bit, I go, "Nope, not
He
gonna give it
did
to you."
jujitsu for 6 years. I guarantee everybody could tap him.
Yeah.
Really?
He was like, I did it
doesn't
6 years
care.
every day. I just never
He's
got
not, he's,
to
Boy.
not, he's not competitive. He's just
He
not
does not
competitive.
care.
You know, he's been working out. He's good.
He's getting there.
I know.
He's
He
getting
was
there.
pretty strong.
He's getting there.
Anyways, I love D'Elia.
Dude, you would
I don't
love
like
this.
that he hated
So do I.
sports.
Jeff, you would love this. I'm going to tell you this the other day. I haven't missed a Dodger game this year.
Ooh,
Really?
a real baseball
Because
fan.
your son, because Tiger watches.
Loves them.
Yeah,
Loves them.
and they're fun to watch.
Bro, fun. It's an all-star
They've
team.
made a. I
Best
literally.
pitching ever.
What did I tweet? I said this year the All-Star game is going to be the American League All-Stars versus the Dodgers.
fair.
That's all.
Did I
it's
tell you
gonna
I
be.
stood in the bullpen when these guys in spring training, the Yankees
I did
guys,
hear. I think I was here that
It
week.
was
Yeah.
nuts. It was nuts to see that.
Yeah, I love watching him. I love Freddie Freeman. Love Freddie Freeman.
Have
I
you ever
connect
been
with
in the
certain
box
players.
when someone's throwing 90?
No.
It's
no.
nuts.
So I played at community college level, and we
You
had
were what position, Jeff?
I played shortstop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which I was the tallest
So you
shortstop
must have
ever.
been good, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I stood in the box. It was the first time I
Just for
ever
Brian,
saw
so shortstop's usually the
Speed. You got to have speed.
well,
right?
but also
good glove.
good glove.
Yeah.
The best athlete.
I always say that I'm I was like
Oh, is that
Ray.
right?
Yeah.
I was like Ray Ordonez. like I would go 0 for 4, but catch anything. They'd be like, we need him in the field, but this fucker can't hit, you know? So but anyway, so one time we faced a guy who could throw in the 90s. And, you know, I've always been the silly guy. So when I saw the first pitch, I looked back, and then all the parents and girlfriends and shit like were laughing because I just looked back like, I don't know, you know. And then the next pitch comes in. I mean, I've never even heard a catcher's mitt make that sound.
Yeah, it's whop.
And I was like, ugh. And so I made some noise, and everyone laughs behind me. And then the third pitch comes in, another fastball, 3 straight fastballs, and I just struck out looking. I walked back to the dugout, and I went like this to all the people in the stands. Like, I don't know. What's going on with this guy?
He loves you.
And I walked back to the stands, and I go, I just was like, I don't know what. I can't see it. How am I going to hit it? Got a big laugh. I go in the dugout. Coach yelled at me. He goes, you fucking making jokes? Everyone's laughing. This pitcher, you just juiced up his.
Yeah.
He goes, also, you can't swing? Just if you think you're distracted, at least go down swinging. And I was like, dude, I couldn't fucking see the ball.
Dude.
And I knew it was over. That's how I knew it was over.
I sat in a box where the ball came at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that was you have to start your swing.
Sure.
So,
literally.
Yeah, your load. So,
But also, when I was there with those Yankees guys, one of the guys is a starter now, just standing there while they threw change-ups and
It's so
curveballs
impressive.
and fucking fastballs.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's very, very hard to hit that ball.
no, you're like this. So Tigers, they were all major teams. So it's like the top level, like little league teams playing. These all Hispanic kids and big white kids from the Valley. And there's this pitcher, and he's 10, he's taller, and just throwing fucking heat. Probably 60, which most of them are throw, like Tiger can throw like 50s, which is great.
That
is great.
60s
Yeah.
insane.
I throw 50s now.
Yeah,
Like that's
No, 100%.
he throws 50s.
Yeah.
This dude's doing 60s.
Yeah.
No one's hitting it. No one's hitting it. This, I won't say the dad's name. The kid gets up, and he's not even close. And dad goes, "Oh, come on!" I just looked down and went, "You hit it.
yeah.
You try hitting it.
Right.
You're putting all this pressure. You don't think there's already enough pressure on the kid?
Yeah.
You try hitting that fucking ball, dude. You know how hard that is?
He did that too.
Yeah, he goes, "Come on." I'm like, "Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
You fucking go.
It
Let
is
me
hard.
see you try feeling the ball when it's coming at you like that,
no
dude. Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, they're kids too, so it's
Yeah, they're 9,
it's
dude.
Gotta give them a break.
Dude, you would be such a good baseball
I would
dad.
love to be a
You
baseball
would be
dad.
great.
My dad was a terrible baseball dad. Yeah, I was giving advice like swing harder. You're like, that's not good advice. Swing
I
harder.
see it in UFC when coaches are sometimes really bad. They're like, you got to mix your punch stuff. Get them out there. You're like, hey,
There's
dude,
not much you can do.
Give him a fucking.
There's
give
not
him
much you
something
can
to
do.
say and
There's not
do.
much you can do.
Maybe like I don't know. He's winning that corner. Boxing coaches are really detailed, right? They'll be like, you see how he's catching that jab. You got to
Kind of
win the corner.
You kind of already know what you're doing, but
I feel like a lot of these things, baseball, martial arts, or any of the things, is like a lot of the battle's done when you're not playing.
100%.
It's like
Yeah.
mental, how you're preparing, how you're
1000%.
practicing, like when you're alone in your mind, like, all right, how we got to, like all that stuff.
And my son gets mad when he strikes out. Or whatever. Like he went 1 for 3 and was like so mad, like ruined his day. We're in Santa Barbara. He's all pissed off. And there was the Dodgers playing the Texas Rangers. There's a guy in the Texas Rangers, Brian, who's 0 for 58. There's slumps, and then there's fucking slumps.
Yeah,
but
he's getting set back down.
I couldn't. I'm like, I can't believe they let him ride this fucking slump out.
Who is it?
I forget his name, but he used to be on the Dodgers. But apparently he's a great clubhouse guy. He's like a leader.
What does that mean?
He has a great glove. Like he's great for the team. He's like a leader, great glove, good clubhouse guy, and so they're allowed him to ride it out. But I told T, I'm like, dude, think of you're in the pros, you're on TV.
Yeah.
He is not got to hit
Yeah, it happens.
58 at bats, dude.
Yeah.
Man.
You see him pouting and
Man.
crying all the fucking time.
Well, and that's another thing. Here's how hard baseball is. If you can hit the ball 3 out of 10 times,
You're
you're one
Hall
of the
Fame.
best baseball players ever. But if you hit the ball 2 out of 10 times,
You ain't shit.
you can't play.
You ain't shit. You ain't shit.
And that's how hard it is. The margin.
But this is the problem. This is the problem because I coach the Little League team. Some of the parents, some of the coaches say, if you just get 3 out of 10, you're in the Hall of Fame. I'll go, no.
Yeah.
At this level, if you're not 8 out of 10, you probably should go do something.
Yeah, and
else.
they shouldn't be thinking about the Hall of Fame yet.
Yeah. I'm like, that 3 for 10 is at the professional level.
Yeah.
Here, you bitches better be getting hit.
Right, yeah, exactly.
They're throwing 10 miles an hour.
100%.
Yeah. All right, kids, let's take a little break here. The next giveaway is live this Thursday, May 1st. It is the ultimate giveaway. The one truck I know is TRX. Have one myself. This is a version of my crazy ass TRX that you see. This is a last call edition TRX with over 50,000 buckaroos and mods. You can win this truck. Go to drivefastallgas.com. You win this truck, the lucky winner will win this badass 800 horsepower plus $10,000 cash. All you got to do is pick up some new sweet merch from drivefastallgas.com. Goes live this Thursday. Get you some. Ready to win some real cash during basketball playoffs? Check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. My Nuggets got it done with 1 second left. Bet on the Nuggets. I bet on the Lakers in this next game. I'd take Golden State as well. But when it comes to basketball payouts, DraftKings Pick 6 posterizes the competition, including prize picks. Hit all your picks and score higher minimum payouts on Pick 6, plus even more cash if you outscore the competition. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and a lot more. New players get 50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Use the code FIGHTER. That's code FIGHTER for new customers to play 5 to get 50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
We were thinking about this yesterday. The first time it ever came to my mind is my buddy Josh Nelson. His nephews play baseball, but they're little, very little, like 5 and 7, I think. And so, like, when you're buying equipment for your kids, you're like, well, he'll grow into that bat, you know? But, like, now the bat's just too heavy for him. So he's striking out left and right, but it's because the bat's too big. But the parents, you know, they don't got scratched like you guys. So they're going like, well, I can't just get him a bat every 3 months.
You figure it out.
Yeah, so they're like, we got him a big bat, and he can just use it. So he's out there just going. It's kind of like he's wearing too big of cleats. He'll grow into those cleats.
He'll grow into it. I remember those days. You'll grow into them.
That'll be fine. Who cares?
I know.
But the whole thing, I've never seen it in any other sport. No other sport. The whole baseball, everyone warned me. Baseball dads, I've never experienced it.
Really?
Now I'm in it. Dude, I'm talking, they're calling the coach.
Oh, yeah.
They're talking the coach.
Come on. You know what it is? It's
a
dad who's trying to express his love, right? Is it a clumsy way of
No, it's a dad that's never played sports and wants so much for his son.
Yeah.
And so if his son's whatever isn't batting well and he goes from hitting first to 8th, furious.
Oh, dude.
And I
calls
hate
the
that
coach,
whenever a dad
complains.
or a mom acts like, as young people would say, out of pocket. We go, but that's just a mother's love. That's just a father's love. You go, no, that's a bad behavior.
You know what I said?
I was coaching this football team, and this kid, he's just not very good. It is what it is. And the mom comes up to me during the game and goes, why isn't he playing quarterback? I went, excuse me? She goes, why isn't he playing quarterback? I go, because he can't throw. And she goes, yeah, he can. He throws in the backyard. I goes, does he? She goes, he throws in the backyard to his brother all the time. He's a fantastic quarterback. I went, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Maybe this will help you out. He'll start the second half. I'll put him at quarterback. If it doesn't go well, no more complaints. She goes, deal. I go, cool. You know, start of the half.
But now she thought he did great.
No, she knew.
Oh, she knew. Oh, good.
Head hike. But
Yeah.
terrible.
Well, that's nice of you.
I pulled him out. I look at it, I go, we good?
Oh, that's great.
Are we good now?
That's so
Can
funny.
we go back to
My son, I
program?
watch him jiu-jitsu, right? And I love watching it because my favorite thing about my son is he just goes to me the other day. He goes, I love jiu-jitsu so much. And I was like, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
That's it. Have a good time. You're not going to be...
Here's the weird thing about fighting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sports were like invented, right? To keep, these boys, maybe teach them some teamwork, teach them some discipline, teach them how to like
war and shit.
get along with each other, make sure they're not out fighting in the
sports.
streets.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, you boys, we need you to quit fighting and causing a muck.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Get into sports, all right? You can play baseball, football, and or you can fight. And they go, what? Fighting's one of them? You go, yeah, come fight each other. Like that's the same.
Yeah. Well, jiu-jitsu's a little
I guess you do
different.
teach them some rules and stuff.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu's
but
different than boxing. It's different. It's actually almost a different culture.
Yeah.
Like a boxing gym and a jiu-jitsu place are just
It's a different culture. It's still not a team thing. Like,
No.
I would never advise put your son just in straight jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
We had a guy at our school, Cameron Rupp. Shout out to Cameron Rupp. His dad was an animal who would make his brother Garrett and him, Cameron, fist fight, and in the house and shit. Like, it was just crazy. And all it taught them was that they could beat the fuck out of us at school. They just went to school with this new confidence,
can
like,
do
oh, well,
this.
now we'll just beat the shit out of everybody. We were so afraid of Cameron. He could have done anything to us, and we're like, we got to just wear this, dude. He can fight.
Yeah. That's not fun when you're a
Dude,
regular guy.
you're one of the guys, to switch subjects, you're one of the guys, I think, out of all this like cancel culture and pronouns and all this bullshit, who's actually coming out of this like bigger than ever.
Well,
and
thank you.
And we've always said like, how's Jeff not the guy? How's Jeff? And there's nothing anybody can do.
I've been
It's just
saying
the general public has to go, he is good.
Yeah.
And then it was like a slow boil because you've been doing it over 20
Well,
years.
I think what happened
it was like
is,
the
like-
slow boil, and then
Yeah.
because you don't bullshit, like you speak the truth. So I think people are like,
He's
all
also,
right,
he's
that's
also
our guy.
really funny.
Well,
We're also
thank
a
you.
But he's
legit
but the
comic.
point is he's always been funny.
Yeah.
You've been funny for fucking 15 years.
Well, thank you very much. It's
and
very
then
nice.
finally they got on board. I think it took all this crazy
know.
leftist shit, pronouns,
People
all
were
that
fatigued,
bullshit.
and they're
Yeah.
going, "Oh, like, at least this feels." Maybe
Refreshing.
someone could explain all of that to us.
Well, cause
And I was like, I was already explaining that this was bullshit.
I've been doing this
when
like,
it wasn't
yeah,
popular
but-
to say it's bullshit.
Now
yeah.
we're willing to listen.
Nothing makes you feel crazier than being just a little ahead of something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even by a few months. Now imagine being a guy who's 10 years ahead of his time, which,
Yeah.
you know, like, I mean, historically, you know, the guy who, he had a theory that, like, there might be germs on our hands that
Yeah,
we
germ
can't
theory.
see. He was like, oh, maybe there's like something on our hands. Maybe that's where
that was a guy
infections are
named
coming from.
Leeuwenhoek.
They put him in a mental institution.
Well, he
Oh, wow.
invented the microscope. What he noticed was he would spit, and he'd see these little organisms in his spit in the morning.
I don't know if this is the same guy, but go ahead.
Because Leeuwenhoek was the guy who actually started to isolate and created ground glass until he created a microscope.
There was a guy who
Microscope.
Your guy came up with hand sanitizer?
literally was like, I have an idea that maybe the reason infections, he was like, so maybe we should wash our
Spreading,
hands
yeah.
before we do these operations.
They locked his
and
ass
they
up.
put him in a mental institution. Long after he died, they're like, that guy was right.
Wow.
You're gonna catch some
100% the guy's
strays being out there.
And so he went to his death going, maybe I am a crazy person. I
That
just had an
sucks.
idea that there was these invisible
That
things. Now, if you
sucks.
said germs aren't real, they'd go, you're crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy.
So I just think, like, I happen to be a few months ahead on being like, I think this COVID stuff is bullshit.
Yep.
And I think that generalizing all of straight white guys is called prejudice or bigotry.
Yep.
You know, you're like, I have like a circle theory.
basic, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you were doing it when it wasn't safe to do it.
Right.
You didn't safe mean you get demonetized on YouTube.
Yeah, it
Clubs
happens.
aren't booking
All of
you.
it.
Like
Yeah.
all that shit.
100%.
So I can see why a lot of people are like, I'm gonna lay low, man.
I was just a little ahead of all that stuff, and only by like months.
Yep.
But it did affect me then, but now I feel like it's good.
It's good.
I feel like there's like a circle thing that happens too. I don't know how to just articulate it really well, but it's like sometimes the intentions are good, you know? Like someone wants to fight sexism. They're like a woman who's like very passionate about the patriarchy and sexism, but then slowly they become the sexist.
Yeah.
Because then they start to hate men, and then they start to hate the thing. Or like you're so against racism that you just slowly become
That's
the
it.
racist.
You know what that
because you're
expression
like
is?
so against
That
it.
expression is the revolution eats its young. That's what happens. Anytime there's a revolution, it will eventually eat its young. It'll turn in on itself. It becomes a circular fire.
Yeah, it's like a snake eating itself
Yes.
almost. It's like this weird.
Snake eating its tail.
I don't even know how to explain it, but like it's like I think that they were well intentioned, and then eventually they get to a place of like, wait, how did I end up
It's out of control.
with all my hair cut off, hating men? Like
they have nowhere
I
to
just
go.
wanted to say women are the same.
Because they were presented a model of the world that didn't exist.
Right.
They were also presented the problem with woke culture is it's reductive. It's like good guys, bad guys. Power, powerless,
Yeah.
oppressor, oppressed, predator, prey.
Right.
And they break it down into the most rudimentary
Yeah.
things. It was also run.
They
and
also
taken
need
over
an
by a
enemy.
lot of-
They need an enemy, right?
Yeah.
Like they always need someone
Right.
to focus on. So it
Yes.
can't be just white male.
Yeah.
Now if you're, it can't be enough if you're just not racist. You have to be anti-racist. Like what's that even mean?
Well,
Right.
that
We're
was-
all anti-racist.
what is
That was
this?
Ibram Kenny, that hustler. But also what happened was, I'm sorry to say this out loud, but it was a lot of women in academia who didn't have children. And the theory would go that they replaced the care that they would have for a child with infantilizing
Or
the
cats.
whole thing.
Yeah.
So in other words, you need a safe space. You're upset and all that. We have to be careful. It's got so it all became about, is it fair?
Yeah.
Does it cause harm?
But think about it, they were doing that to make them kind of the it group because they've never been the it group. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, look, we need attention
the
now.
nerd-
But what's so
the
crazy
nerds
is like
got power.
we've made it so complex that we've just lost our basic chimp
Yes.
brains.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever think that children would be smarter than grown-ups? Literally, if you asked my 5-year-old niece, if you said, "Hey, Kaya, which one of these girls shouldn't be swimming with the other ones?" she would nail it on her
one
first
with the
try.
cock and balls
She's
at 6'4".
5, and she'd be like, "The one with the shoulders and the 5 o'clock shadow." You'd
Yeah.
be like, "You nailed it.
You got
You're
it."
smarter than every
Yeah.
adult I know."
What was that? It was. I knew we were living in crazy times when, like, I was getting texts when Trump signed that bill saying, men can't participate in women's sports,
Yeah.
or there's two genders. Everyone's celebrating. I'm like, how is this even a thing?
Did you see what
How's this
England-
a thing?
You see what
But
the-
that's another one of those
That's how
circular
crazy.
things.
How's this a fucking
Did you see
thing?
what the UK just did? They passed a law that said your gender is what your biology was. Do you see this?
That's
Look
great.
at the UK. Yeah.
But here's another one of the circular things.
UK
Just like
style.
what we were just talking about. It's the same circular thing. Who understands, fights for, and tries to justify every minute of their existence for safe spaces? Who does? Trans people, right? Or like woke people are always the front lines of talking about safe spaces, right? So how can they not understand that biological women wouldn't feel safe when they're in a locker room or a bathroom?
Wild.
That they should be understanding, oh, maybe that is where a woman wants to undress or where a woman wants to go to the bathroom. It's one of the only places women are alone, right? They
Yep.
can't bring
What about
a
in
big
jail? What about men in jail?
Yeah, so they should understand more than anyone a safe space for
They
biological
just
women.
went too far.
But they don't care about their safe space.
no.
They go, oh, but it's my safe
They
space.
want the
There's
attention.
always like this circular thing, which is what I try to do in my comedy. I have a thing that I did where I'm like, I'll make fun of trans stuff or LGBT, playfully as jokes. And then I get all these comments that are like, people like, oh, he's just doing this because he's gay. Jeff Dye's probably gay. That's why and I go, if you believe that I'm gay, and that's why I'm doing all these gay jokes, you believe I'm a closeted homosexual, then why are you being so mean to me?
Yeah.
If you think I'm a closeted homosexual, why? I am in a very vulnerable part of my journey.
Yeah.
Well, this is some gay on gay crime here.
Thank
But it's because it's always so you can always bring it back to them going, shit, it is preposterous what we're saying.
Yeah, the fuck.
Yeah, because it lacks logic.
Yeah, it's wild.
As well.
man.
But anyways, I could talk about that for fucking hours.
All day.
But I feel like it's changed a little bit. Like we were talking about like the Shannon Sharp stuff. Where
Oh, boy, man,
this
he's in trouble, huh?
If is he though?
Couldn't
Like,
happen to a worse guy, so it's great.
No.
I hate Shannon Sharp.
Why?
Because he sucks.
Because he's a Denver Bronco.
No, it's not a sports thing.
What is it?
It's the it's his takes. I disagree with his takes
he has-
most
yeah,
of the
but
time.
Because he's not a Lakers fan.
But he still doesn't deserve to get falsely accused of some shit.
Well, I don't know if he did it or not, so I don't know. I'll speak to that when the evidence is
his
out.
takes and all that shit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I think it's the tides. It's not all the way 100% back,
Mm-hmm.
but it's changed somewhat because if those allegations would have came out, let's say in 2019, he's fired before we even get the news. ESPN's
Right.
going, we've decided to part ways with Shannon Sharp. We
Has
can't
he
be
been
part of this.
Check it out, Chin.
He hasn't.
No.
No. Fired?
I want to see
He
what's going
hasn't.
on.
It's a waste of your time to Google it. He hasn't been fired.
Well, so I guess I'm asking myself, why would I say what I just said?
Yeah, you were dead serious.
Well, and I'll tell you why. He does a lot of this is just to take a black man down. This is just to take a black. We're
I
already
get it.
going for it. We're already reaching for the black card.
Yeah.
All
Immediately.
right, so I would suggest.
Oh, are you
Boy,
the only one whores go after, Shannon? I don't know. I got some buddies that some whores went after who aren't black guys. This isn't the plight of black men.
Yeah.
And it seems like just such a pattern. It's so
Well, he was
Alright,
probably
alright.
contagious.
I get
Tony
it.
Busby came after Jay-Z as well and P. Diddy with a false allegation. Jay-Z now is suing Tony
Right.
Busby. So that's kind of what he was saying.
Wouldn't you argue it happens to men, Brian?
General, yes. I
Yeah, well,
would.
and
Why are
especially-
you bringing race into
especially,
this?
Yeah, it's not. I'm with him. It's not a race thing. It's a famous thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's money.
You'd say
Money,
they're just
it's money.
these are just gold diggers coming for
Sure.
rich, famous
Yes,
guys.
I-
oh,
Not
whores
rich,
only
famous-
target black guys. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Because the two women that went after Jay-Z and Diddy were black, so
Right.
none of it makes.
I think that's what he was just saying. He was trying to shame Tony Busby into.
That's why they took D'Elia down, because he's a black man.
That's right. That's right.
So that's my hesitation
get it.
towards it.
Yeah,
Is
I
like
got it.
to immediately go to that.
Right.
And like this whole.
I think they're scrambling though,
This
so I
whole-
think it's whatever I can do to get the black people on my side, the men on my
It's
side.
such
What box do I
trash.
got to check? I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's an easy cherry to pick.
Well, the gay community should defend him. He's always dressing like a gay guy. Have you seen how Shannon Sharp dresses?
Dresses?
How he dresses.
He wears some colorful
His
sweaters.
clothes.
Colorful
Walking
sweaters.
around with a tiny poodle, getting mad at people for filming him at an airport.
Yeah, Schultz was on his show and goes, Jesus, man, what you just go to an aloe and
Yeah.
on a shopping spree?
Schultz has a Nazi haircut, and
Remember
he's
this
still
show?
like, "What are you wearing?"
I remember when that basketball player was mouthing off to him. Shannon Sharp.
Oh yeah, that was that night.
was
He
a
wanted to
Lakers
fight.
He'll break your neck.
That was a Lakers game, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it was at a Lakers game, and I went to Jeannie to like gossip about it. I was like, "What does Shannon Sharp think he can fight the other team?" And here's how
Probably
cool
could.
Jeannie is. She goes, "I loved it." And I was like, "You're the best." She's supporting it. I love it. No, I mean, if Shannon Sharp is being wrongfully accused, I think that is absolutely terrible, and this girl sucks.
Yep.
But to make it a race thing is just always so predictable. That's all.
Yeah, I just think it's the easy.
Sanaz
pickings.
didn't like it at all. She's upset with it.
It's a young white girl. Going
made a
after
lot of
black
noise when
man,
I was
so
talking
it gets
trash
people on
about
their
it.
side.
Laughing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you like
It's-
Shannon Sharp?
I don't care for his opinions either.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but when they're on TV, I don't give a fuck. It's like they have producers like who's gonna go against LeBron? You want the LeBron? All right, who wants? That's all.
But I guess the reason I care so much about ESPN
He's a Bronco, so
is
I love
because
him.
media has famously become like pro wrestling. Like Fox News and CNN is a joke. It's not even real like news.
Yeah.
And now that's leaked into my sports. Now even sports have been politicized, and they've
Yes.
been like Stephen A. Smith will just make up things and nobody calls him on it. And when you do call him on it, you must be a racist.
Yep.
Like they've brought it all into my sports world.
He bring. What do you mean he makes up things?
Stephen A. Smith wrote a book called I don't know what it was, an autobiography, and he claims like I made 75 3-pointers in a row. No one ever saw it. No one ever heard of it. He was like, I played in this many games. Now I'm not saying I was Jordan or nothing, but I was good. I could shoot. And so then
his stats, he averaged like 2 points a game.
no, he averages. You can't find any
there's
stats on it. There's no
nothing.
He's
evidence
not-
he even
he's-
played at that
he's
school.
not an athlete. You see
so
him-
what happens is a very petty guy at
Not a
ESPN named Jason Whitlock, who I like but he is
Jason.
very petty,
Yes,
and it's
he
got
is.
plenty of time and plenty of researchers. Is like, let's just investigate this book.
Yeah.
Dude, Stephen A. Smith lost his mind for like 3 months because he's like, stop looking into this stuff.
Yeah.
He thought he could just make up his history. But the internet's been around Stephen A. Smith's whole life.
Oh, yeah.
The internet wasn't as big as it is
It's been
now,
around.
but you can find
You can
evidence.
find stuff.
for
You can't
sure.
lie about playing on a college sports team. And so there's all these like photoshopped things. He started calling him Stephen A. Myth. and like, as petty as Jason Whitlock might come off in that
He's
whole
not the
thing,
guy you want in your
he
case.
was right.
Yeah, he's right.
I mean, like Stephen A. Smith just made up a bunch of sports stuff.
Wow.
And
Stops reference it now. He's like,
yeah.
okay. I'll
and so I just don't like that. I don't like when media is dishonest,
Yeah.
especially for their own.
Well, you don't get away with it.
Gain.
You're going to get caught in today.
They've got away with
Too
it for a
many
long
sleuths.
time, though.
Yeah, but
Long
too many
time.
sleuths now. Too many, like you said, there's a record.
Yeah, but I actually like what LeBron got in his face. Loved that.
I did too.
Loved
and he was
it.
like, that was LeBron not coming to me as an athlete, but as a dad.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, dude.
That's why he came after you.
Yeah, bud.
Stupid. Maybe
Yeah.
don't comment on his
do you
personal
like
life.
Stephen A. Smith for the most part? Or
No.
Oh, you don't?
Nope. I mean, I appreciate
who do
the
you like?
in like sports. I like when I like the old school guys who were like funny about it. Like Craig Kilborn. I love Boomer. Chris Berman.
Craig Kilborn?
Yeah, I love Craig Kilborn.
Is he still out there doing it?
Keith Olbermann and me couldn't be couldn't be more of opposites
He
when
was
it comes to
great when he was on
politics.
ESPN,
but I
though.
love Keith Olbermann.
Yeah, he's great.
I think he's great. I don't have to agree with his politics. He doesn't have to agree with
He's
mine.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think Keith Olbermann's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
Smart.
I love Stuart Scott back in the day. He was a fun one. Like
Yeah.
I like all those kind of guys that were just
You like
in
the
sports.
original ESPN crew?
Yeah.
Dan Patrick?
Chris
Rich
Rose.
Eisen.
I'm trying to think of who else is like doing it. Oh, Bill Simmons.
Michael
Amazing.
Wilbon.
What's up?
Michael
Wilbon
Wilbon
is great.
great.
Tony Kornheiser. I love their show.
They're baseball heads.
Yeah. When
Super
also they're just
baseball heads.
honest. Those are two honest dudes.
They're old. No give
Yeah.
a fuck.
All those guys. I mean, I like most of them.
Yeah.
I just find this new.
I don't like
era-
the yell. Like, I don't like to start my mornings. I used to put on like First Take or whatever it was when they're like yelling at each other and you're just like,
Yeah,
God,
I know.
shut the fuck up.
Well, I
man."
think that Michael or sorry,
started
I
like
think
these
Stephen A.
debate shows
Smith
started.
thinks if he speaks tenaciously, we have to agree with him.
Yeah.
And that comes off as very immature.
He started as a writer, right?
Just
Wasn't
because
he
you're
a sports
shouting
writer?
doesn't mean.
sports writer.
Yeah, he's very
Also, Stephen A. Smith has the Bill Burr thing, where it's like you're not allowed to disagree with him. Have you ever talked to Bill Burr? Like, you're not allowed to disagree because he's Bill Burr.
Yeah.
He'll be like, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl, Di? And I was like, I don't know. I think, the Seahawks. That's the thing with you. It's always Seahawks with you. You're like, all right, sorry. I just had an opinion here. I guess because you're more famous and have a better career. I have to just listen to you talk to me about it.
He started out, he had a show first with Skip Bayless, right?
Who?
Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, they
Shannon Sharp.
No, Shannon Sharp was Skip Bayless.
but I thought before.
No,
Shannon-
it was Skip Bayless and
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith on
Yeah.
First Take. That's the
Yeah.
original First Take.
That's
I didn't know that.
Originally called Cold Pizza. Yeah.
Yeah,
But and then Stephen A. Smith got Skip Bayless his start.
but he's become very wealthy, Stephen A. Right?
Oh,
Makes
yeah.
sense.
Oh, yeah. I
Stupid
mean,
lotteries.
but
He's supposed to run for president.
he'll never make a single vote. But
I don't know.
Well, I don't think so.
The Democrats, who else is going to vote? Who else is
Dude,
going to run?
No one would want Stephen A. Smith in
Pete
there.
Buttigieg? Come on.
Yeah.
But Stephen A. Smith flip-flops on his own politics because what happens is when he starts
All
to
of
get a
them
little
do.
honest, ESPN goes, hey, bud,
Yeah.
want to have a little chat?
Yeah,
You
step
know,
in
we
the
work for
office.
Disney, ding
Yeah,
dong.
yeah.
80 million, 85 million.
Yeah, here's what I thought I would like
Very
about Stephen A. Smith is he's got a very pro wrestling style about
Yes.
him, like where he's
entertaining.
larger than life and very, very entertaining and very charismatic and he's got a lot of
He knows his shit.
a lot of positives.
Yeah.
But I don't like it because no one else is playing the game. No one else is wrestling with him.
He's the
so
only
it's
one.
just him doing this big shtick.
Until he had Skip. That's why him and Skip were so good. And then Skip left to Fox and made all the
Yeah.
money. But Skip would fucking give it to him.
Yeah, maybe if more people did what he was doing, I would be more open to it. But it's just
It's
feels
tough because
like
he's at such a level now where everyone's he's their boss. Like he
Yeah.
has so much power where they won't disagree with him anymore.
When
And I think that's why the ratings are down because there's no equal anymore.
Yeah.
It's like Stephen A. Smith, everybody else.
I know. And you can find me to be a hypocrite on this because I would love to be more successful and more famous, but it feels like they're more interested in becoming more famous than actually
100%.
doing the reporting.
100%.
Like Dan Lebitard became like super successful, and now his show is just about like viral videos and like some sort of gags with Stu Gotts. I'm like, you were supposed to be like the sports guy.
I think when nerds get super famous, it is such a bad look.
yeah.
Let's take a little break here because one thing we all care about if you're a dad is making sure your crib is safe. Traditional security systems only take action after someone has already broken in. It's too late. Way too late. Simply Safe is setting the new standard in home security with Active Guard outdoor protection. Simply Safe's monitoring agents can help prevent break-ins before they even happen. No long-term contracts or cancellation fees. Monitoring plans start affordably at just $1 a day. More than 4 million Americans use and trust Simply Safe. You got a 60-day satisfaction guarantee or your money back. Named the best home security system of 2025 by CNET. All right. Ranked #1 in customer service by Newsweek and USA Today. And listen, you can get 50% off your new Simply Safe system with professional monitoring and their first month free at simplysafe.com/fighter. All right. So again, you get 50% off your new Simply Safe system. Keep your family safe and professional monitoring by going to simplysafe.com/fighter. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Simplysafe.com/fighter. I'll tell you, but someone who got fake, like Dan Patrick is still great. Rich Eisen's great. They're like
I love those guys.
real sports guys.
Yeah, I like those guys.
Have you done Rich Eisen?
No.
Oh, man,
but
he's
I
the
do like
best.
Rich Eisen.
The best.
He's also like what I just accused those guys of doing though. Where like now Rich Eisen just is a YouTuber or he just has a show. It isn't even sports.
Well, they're trying to keep up with the times.
Right.
No one's watching their TV
He
shows.
just all of a sudden has
And
Larry
they're like-
David on there and
Yeah.
like Ian Larry David's like, I don't know, get rid of the kickers.
Yeah,
he doesn't
yeah.
even know
Yeah,
sports
yeah.
very well.
Is that it, Brian?
No.
Stephen A. Myth.
We know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, it just was like, oh, come on, bro. Because he wasn't doing it. If you're doing it for a crowd, it's great. It's fun. If you're just coming in and like it's like that almost the Travis.
He also calls for
maybe
people's
the blue,
jobs.
maybe in the blue right there. I mean, in the purple sweater. Let's see that.
Oh boy.
That's a Home Depot.
Yeah, I know. Why is he
IKEA,
in
yeah.
a Home Depot?
Warehouse.
You know what? That's not a bad pimp walk. That's not bad. He's just walking in.
Lavender suit.
Yeah.
He is very confident.
I like him.
As
I,
it
like,
should be.
I
I'm
personally
fine with
like
that,
him. I
yeah.
like the guy, but I don't know enough about sports to have a point of view.
Well, he'll like call for people's jobs. Like he'll make things personal. He'll be like, if I'm the Boston Celtics, I fire him tomorrow. I go, don't do that.
He has so much power.
He'll say those kind of things, you know? Calling out LeBron about basketball, go ahead. But calling out LeBron as a father, go fuck yourself.
Wild.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
But that's fun too, right? That's part of what makes him a firebrand. It's part of why we watch him. It's part of what got him to the dance.
But there's
That
also
strong-
ratings of him being like anti-LeBron. Like that was Skip's whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like anti-LeBron.
Yeah.
So LeBron's the most famous athlete
Which
in
is
the world.
such a symptom
So
of
then-
modern times.
I don't
Yes.
understand what I've never understood. You guys know basketball. I've never understood why people can't give it up to LeBron.
Because they're dumb.
Like
We live in the most contrarian society ever. Everybody wants to be a contrarian, not because it would be a good argument, but because it's just interesting to be the contrarian.
so stupid.
It's also
Yeah.
a way to get ratings, B. So if all they do is suck off LeBron, so
Yeah.
that's why First Take got so big. You had Skip Bayless who despised LeBron. So LeBron would go for 40, but he'd make fun of him because he missed a shot or a three-pointer,
Right.
missed a dunk. And then Stephen A. Smith loved LeBron. So he'd argue for an hour. So because LeBron's polarizing because he's so fucking good at basketball at his age, especially
incredible.
now. The one of the I mean, come on.
He's 40 fucking years old.
you
and
have
he's
half
scoring
the
more than
nation-
anyone else in the league. Like it's,
Still?
yes.
Yes, yeah, it's HGH, but so you have the entire nation, half the nation hates him, half the nation loves him, so you can get ratings. That's why they do it. Skip Bayless doesn't hate LeBron.
No.
It's a shtick. Figure it out.
Of course it's
you don't
not.
hate
Yeah.
him. How can you hate what true reason do you have to hate LeBron?
Yeah.
Does he read books? No. Does he fake it? Yes.
Yeah.
Is he soft as fuck? Yes.
His politics are insane.
Wait a minute. Hold
Wild.
on, now we're back to it.
What?
What do you mean soft?
LeBron?
Yeah.
Been playing since he was 40.
I will say this.
The game's
Here,
just different.
I'll give you a
like
little.
he'll get a thing in his eye. and
Promise
he's like,
I promise
Oh.
you. If you would put him in back when Jordan was playing and you got rough with that guy,
Jordan would eat
he'd
his
get
lunch.
rough back and it'd be a problem.
Well, no, man.
No,
Those,
that's
you
just
wake up that
that's just a
sleeping
stupid
giant.
thing.
here's something I'll give the fans.
It's just a
and
different
I'll let
game.
the fans know they're right. When you complain that LeBron is a baby, I submit.
But he's
he
a
is one
product-
of the
he-
biggest babies in the league. But if you are going to if I'm going to give you that, you got to agree Chris Paul is a bigger baby than LeBron.
Of course.
I want to hear more Chris Paul is a baby. Luka, who I'm in love with now because he's a Laker,
Love him.
is way more of a baby than LeBron.
But they're
there's
just-
so many guys above LeBron as being a baby.
Yeah,
now
but
is LeBron a
LeBron's the
baby?
best.
Yes.
But LeBron's the best, so he's gonna get labeled as the
Yeah.
baby. Like that's the.
They go flop and he's crying. I'm like, yeah, but he's like 10th in the league.
But he's also but they're also products of the game. Like
Yeah.
the entire game. That's what the game is.
Yeah.
It's 3-pointers. It's softer.
Yeah, it's way
not,
soft.
It's not the Pistons defense from the fucking 90s or
Yeah.
80s. It's just not that game anymore.
These guys will
So they're
cry to the
products
ref
of that.
for everything.
Yes.
And they lie. Like, and they'll be like, what? You didn't call it. And they look at the replay. It wasn't even close.
Now my boy Jokic doesn't.
Dude does it the most. And I love him now because he's a Laker, but we had a little rough
No,
patch.
Jokic, not Luka. Jokic.
Oh, yeah. Jokic doesn't cry, does he?
Never.
Okay, yeah.
Fuck.
Serbian, bro.
He doesn't even talk.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't even want
He's
to
a
be out
robot.
there. Yeah, he's like, I want to
His-
go home
his-
and race
Bubba-
horses.
And they're like,
His brother came to my show in Denver. I've never
Massive.
seen a man that big in my life.
And they're bad boys.
Because his brother was there, but also Klopp was there. Now, Klopp is 6'6", 265.
yeah.
This dude, I was like, there's Klopp. And then I looked
They're
over, I was
massive.
like, well, that guy is...
Oh, yeah. You ever seen the photo? Bring up the photo of Kevin Hart, Shaq, and Yao Ming. Just to give you some.
Kevin's at their dick. His
Yeah, well,
literally
check
the
this
dick right
out.
in his
Brian, I
face.
love this picture.
Yeah.
Shaq, Kevin Hart,
I
Yao
want to see
Ming,
Luca with his brothers because his brothers, I think, are bigger.
and
These Serbs
Shaq.
are
There you
They're
go.
way
Look at this picture to just give you some perspective.
Is that real?
Look, you know how big Shaq is, right?
That is-
Look
that's
at Yao
Yao
Ming
Ming.
next to Shaq.
That is
Just to give you some NBA perspective. And that's not
Strange.
Photoshop. That's an actual photo
That's
in
real,
a
yeah.
hotel lobby.
that is strange.
So that, like, because Shaq's the biggest human I've ever met, I thought.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And then you look at Yao, it's like, it's insane.
Yeah, so big.
Yeah.
Yao is. Yao.
Are you sure it looks like it's photoshopped? Because there's
No.
this.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart
7'6".
might be photoshopped.
Yeah, yeah,
but
Kevin
that's
Hart.
but that's his height. That's just giving you reference.
Well, I think it's still interesting, Kevin Hart to Yao. Or, sorry, Shaq to Yao. Because Shaq is
It's
huge.
huge, and Yao's so.
I bet
fucking
Kevin Hart might be smaller than that then.
Huge.
Yeah.
There
Yao's
you go.
driving.
So is
no
this the
fun
original
cars.
photo?
think so, yeah. Oh, wait,
I
no,
hate
no,
when I'm
no.
tricked by the internet. It
No,
happens
that's
every
Kevin.
day to me.
That makes sense.
No, that's Kevin from Red Carpet. They're just putting
Kevin's
that in there for
Kevin's
context.
5'4" or whatever.
Like when
Dude, it's
when
great.
Shaq was dating Hoops, And she was just right at his dick the entire time.
I know.
They're on dates, and she just.
I would argue anyone Shaq dates, it's sexual assault. Like, I mean, just it wouldn't matter how big she is.
Can't help
it's
it.
unfair to her.
Apparently his dick
Even if
is
she
not
wants it, it's unfair to her.
Yeah.
He's such a big guy.
Giant.
His first wife was like tiny too. She was tiny by like our standards,
Yeah.
let alone Shaq's.
But he's probably not into like big girls. You know?
I
That's
know,
not
but
his
I feel
thing.
like he has to. That's his burden to bear.
But even if she's 5'10", which by our standards be a big girl, he's like, oh, she's.
he should have to date WNBA chicks that are like
Yeah.
6'5".
Yeah, there's some pretty ones.
Unbelievable.
I bought it for a second.
Is he the most dominant center of all time?
Who, Shaq?
In his prime, he's
Yeah, I
up
think so.
there.
Yeah, I think he's number one, yeah.
Could run the court.
Because you watch these guys, they come down on their legs and you just go, oh, fuck.
Well, I didn't know how
He's gonna
athletic.
get
Yeah, you go, I don't know
You know
how.
where you see how
But Shaq
athletic
had no
Shaq is?
problem.
You know where you see how athletic it is? I never saw this. Blue Chips, that movie.
Yeah.
Where he's running down and dunking.
You're talking about the movie?
Yeah.
Now you can watch that in real life when he was on the Orlando Magic, you old fuck.
This is great.
You can see him like acrobatically
Brian,
dunking.
you can actually watch, not a movie.
You're like a beautiful woman I took to coffee who wants to be in the sports conversation. Oh, yeah, you seen Blue Chips?
You like
What do mean,
Shaq?
Shaq Blue Chips
Hey,
talk.
we're talking Shaq. You like Shaq? You want, when I knew he was a good basketball player, the movie Blue Chips.
This morning,
Fucking idiot.
me and my buddy Josh are talking about baseball, and we're doing something, and then there's this girl that's at the table with us who was our friend. She goes, "That's like in water polo." I go, "What are you talking? Don't bring in water polo. We're trying to have talk here about."
I love when people say that.
You can watch Shaq as LSU days, man. It'll blow your fucking brain.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
Don't
he
watch
was-
Blue Chips.
Look at how skinny he was. Look at that.
He was so
With
fast,
Nick
quick
Nolte.
feet for a giant.
Yeah, quick feet.
Nick Nolte with the bowl cut.
Look at how thin he was back then.
Dude, he was unstoppable.
Damn.
Patrice had him in a joke too. Patrice said, "We call ourselves the world champions in the NBA. We don't play any other countries. We just go, we're the world champs because we're America. We're number one. You forget about you. We're the world champs.
Love it.
And we got Shaq. Nobody can beat Shaq. So
No, you watch him on his LSU days. He's a fucking
a lot of time with Anthony Hardaway. Huh? I didn't know that he went to LSU. Did Anthony go to LSU?
No, they played for the Magic together.
I know, but these are like old pictures that look like they predate. Like, what does that say? Western?
But Anthony
that an all-star picture? That's
Hardaway was in Blue Chips.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, they're on the set. They're on the set together, and they also played at the Magic together.
Western was from the movie. Okay.
Penny Hardaway, great shoes.
Oh man, remember Chris Rock's commercials with Little Penny?
Yes.
They made like a little puppet of Anthony Hardaway, but it just talked and sounded and had the vernacular of Chris Rock.
Yeah, it's weird.
He's like, "I'm Little Penny," and it was hilarious.
It was
Like
great.
the best commercials. I loved Anthony.
At
don't
least
do-
Brian knew he was a center, guys.
That's right.
Yeah, we're making
Give
I
him
progress.
some
wasn't
credit.
being
Progress.
mean to Brian. I love Brian.
No, I'm not.
Just don't know how to talk
I'm not
about Blue
sensitive.
Chips.
I'm not sensitive to the fact that I don't know my sports.
Well, last time I was
I am
on here,
kinda
you
like
guys
the
had a
hot chick.
50-minute argument about UFC where I didn't say anything. So I think it's pretty fair to say, hey,
do we have a-
you don't know about I don't know about Blue Chips.
Yeah.
What's going on? Are you going to shoot a special soon?
I'm ready to go. I got another hour ready to go.
Where do you want to shoot it?
I want to shoot it at the La Jolla Comedy Store.
Great.
I love that place. I love that
place.
room.
Great
And my
place.
last special, I think I made an error by putting it like in a music venue.
It's too big.
Yeah.
It isn't what we
Acoustics?
do.
No,
yeah, and
it's
so
not.
like it's kind of like
The
just
audience,
totally different.
yeah, it's different.
I wasted too much time worrying about like the right shots and the right cameras and the right lighting and my dumb little jacket.
don't care, do
when
we?
I should have just worried about the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most
It's
important
true.
part.
And
Yeah.
most of the time, I just want to see a 3/4 shot, maybe.
Who cares? Yeah, people listen to reels of mine that have terrible audio.
Best special I've seen in a while is Tim Dillon's. He shot the mothership just
great.
in the main room there, and
Yep.
it's just tight.
Yep. Me too.
It's,
Every club
it's
is
only
filming
like
us.
and it's only like 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Great. It's great.
Great.
So that's
You
what
got
I'm going to do
for us,
on the
Jen?
next one.
Current events.
Sure, bud.
Grimace?
Current events.
Oh, I thought you said Grimace.
Wait. Also, Jeff, you're a tall dude. So what's the tallest girl you've dated?
That's a good question.
Or are you interested in?
I
'Cause
like tall girls. Yeah,
Oh, you do.
Yeah, I'm into it. That's a cool thing. I've never had to worry about if they're tall.
Yeah, of course.
Are you still single, Jeff? Or
yes,
is it
sir.
little Philly?
Single boy.
Nothing. God dang.
Nothing. I'm too like, what girl wants to date a guy who's literally on the road all the time?
And then when you're not on
oh,
the
my
road,
boyfriend, I FaceTime him twice a week. How fun is that?
Facts.
Are you constantly on the road?
I'm always
He's
on
always
the road.
on the road, and he's not on the road. He's at major league stadiums.
Right? Yeah, I'm always.
So she's like,
doing
something has to give here, dude.
know.
Like, I got a few more stadiums, good.
And I'm like, almost. It feels like
So you're gone every weekend.
it feels weird because I've kind of done it to myself in that fashion, but also like.
And it's weird too when
I don't have to feel guilt about the road. A lot of my friends and peers, like, they feel guilt about the road. They're like, they even feel bad about enjoying the road because they're like, well, my wife is like, I can't make it sound too fun.
Yeah, no.
Because she's at home going, well, fuck you. You know?
That's true.
But I don't have any guilt on the road. I'm just out living, having a. I was at WrestleMania all weekend. I'm like, I can just kind of come and go and do whatever I'd like. So that's the perk of it. It is wildly lonely, but it is also like, at least I don't have any guilt, and at least I'm not leading someone on. It's kind of,
I get it.
Kind of free.
What do you got, Jim?
Oh wait, another question.
Oh yeah.
Since you don't drink anymore, would you have any vices?
Cigars have become a.
Me too.
I'm obsessed with them.
Me
Are you a
too.
cigar guy?
Fuck yeah.
You're kidding,
Dude, we gotta go to Hollywood Smoke.
I'm having like three cigars probably a night,
Dude,
And now that I'm over at the Comedy Store, that's such a pro smoking place.
Oh yeah.
I was last night.
Love it.
I'm gonna literally. I'm not exaggerating. I was teary eyed. I was like, I'm at the Comedy Store and I'm having a cigar. I'm welcome here. People are being nice. I couldn't believe.
Yeah,
I was like,
so
this
about
is
time.
amazing.
What do you smoke? You got a
Placencia is my favorite cigar. I was just featured. If you type in Placencia cigars and then put Jeff Dye.
Dude, that's my new thing.
I'm in Cigar Aficionado magazine this month.
Dude, I got
a huge
on the front cover.
Jeff Dye,
gotta
and
bring you
then
to
put like
Hollywood
Cigar Aficionado or something.
I gotta bring you to Hollywood Smoke, dude.
I don't know how to spell aficionado.
Where do you get
It
your
is out of
cigars?
popularity.
You know George Janko has a cigar shop
There I am.
in Arizona.
But this was in the magazine, so I've been going because I know it's not going to last long. I keep going into the cigar lounge. I'm like, you guys got Cigar Aficionado? They're like, yeah. And I go, check this out. Because I know that I'm not going to be able to do that forever.
Yeah, no.
And they're all like, holy crap. Yeah, so
cool.
it's pretty cool.
They had Wayne
yeah.
Gretzky on there before you, bud.
Well, no, on the cover was Gronk. Because they only do like 4 a year or something. And so Gronk got the cover. I just have a full page picture.
You don't feel like that's
article.
a monthly
Dude, that's
mag.
so cool.
Yeah. Not a lot to talk about.
More
Do you like
cigars.
cigars? Me too.
Man, I love cigars.
Is it the rumor was your thing about moving to Austin?
What's that?
I
was going to move to Austin. Yeah. It's
Plans put on
amazing
hold?
there. I love Joe. I love what they're doing. I love Texas. I love America.
Yep.
I love that you save some money on your taxes that aren't going to like, Iraqi Sesame Street or whatever the fuck our taxes go to now.
Yep.
And so, but I pushed it back just because.
the Comedy Store stuff.
Well, no, I mean that newly would be the reason, but also like all the properties shot up in value after the fires. It's kind of a tough time to buy a place out there.
Yeah.
People move.
So-
People are moving to.
Yeah,
more
and I don't have any
places.
interest in selling my place here. So that we're looking at a second property. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
Where's your place here?
Sherman Oaks.
Yeah, it's nice.
I love Sherman Oaks.
Yeah, because we're out in May.
I know you guys are going.
Yeah,
you
Brian's
guys.
there already.
What
I
have
leave
you? I
May
probably already
26th.
explained. This might be a repeat for your audience, but what was the decision that made you guys go? We're going.
It was what you said to me, to be honest with you. Rogan said after I shot my special, he said, move here. It'll change your career. And then you said, you're just going to become a road comic. You're just out here isolated.
You're that guy.
And
that's
don't
just on
be
the
that
road,
guy.
and you're not a
Go to
comics comic.
Austin. And I
Like
was
Brian
like-
lost his peers. I was like, you got to be out in Austin. And then I said, I'm going. Remember? I was like, I'm going.
How'd you convince you? What made you want to go?
The fires.
Me too.
Okay.
The fires are what
That was my
started.
last straw.
He says fires, but he didn't live anywhere near them. But that's a
It
different
just
story.
bothered me. I was like, I'm done with this fucking.
But the fires were right by us, and we lost power for 2 weeks, and then we couldn't be in the house. And then we have this big gate, like this security gate to get in and out, and the gate wouldn't work. And we had to like rush out, and I'm there pulling it, and my hair's in my face. That's when I cut my hair shorter. So I was pulling it in the wind. My wife looked at me and was like, oh, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Because I was trying to get her out during COVID. I was like, you're down? She's like, I'm down. Put the house for sale like a week later, and boom,
Good.
off to the races.
Yeah, those fires were real eye-opening. I was telling everyone, I was like, you thought I was annoying about politics before. Now they fucking set all my friends' houses on fire and then acted like, oh, what don't worry, we'll rebuild. Like, dude.
And then talking to insurance companies,
So
like,
fishy.
we can only insure you for 3 mil. It's like, but the house is worth a lot more than
Yeah,
that.
it's such
So I'd be
garbage.
on the hook for the rest. They're like, correct. I'm like, I'm out.
I would love, I wouldn't love it, but I would be interested to see how optimistic Gavin Newsom was if it was his house on fire.
Correct.
Because this whole like, guys, let's everyone get like, you're getting carried away. It's like, no, we're not getting carried away. Losing your entire home,
dude, let me tell you,
is a
something.
pretty
All
big
your
deal.
money's in it.
I just had the guy on the Santa Monica Coalition. He's a business owner. He's the guy who was telling me about what's really going on in Los Angeles politics. We all lay it down at Gavin Newsom. Let me tell you something. What happens when you're Gavin Newsom? You want to do any kind of a project, you'll be litigated every step of the way, and you ain't doing shit without the city council. You want to make a change in this city? The Santa Monica City Council and the LA City Council has socialists on it. They're not even Democrats. They're socialists. And they are anti-growth. Gavin Newsom will tell you that. They're anti-growth. And they look at the homeless problem as, and let me give you a couple of stats. It's not just a positive. They look at it as a housing issue when it's an addiction mental health issue without a question. On top of the fact that the kind of service they give, like Barbara Ferreira, you know that the woman who had us all in masks, who looks like a White Walker. Yeah, she's got this needle exchange program. So in Santa Monica, we not only we give them checks, we give them places to shelter up. We let them camp out, even though it's a violation of the law they just passed.
Wait, are you trying to tell us Newsom doesn't suck?
And all of these needles exchanges, all of that shit is basically deliberate. And so what happens is 95% of our homeless issue are transients from out of state. They're not living here. They come from other places.
Well, they want to come here because it's safe, but also the weather.
All of that.
The weather's
so
good.
In Santa Monica,
there's no winter.
So check this out. In Santa Monica, the mall, that 3rd Street Promenade Mall on the far end, 75% vacancy. The entire 3rd Street Promenade, which used to be the fucking greatest place, they're renting by month, and people are leaving. There are more fires. There are 7 overdoses a day. 7 overdoses a day in MacArthur Park, and there are 5 overdoses a day in Reed Park. So it is an outrage. And every one of these assholes on the city council who's a socialist thinks there's no problem.
Karen Bass is a proud Marxist, and she's said it.
The worst.
So that's not even a slander. That's what she calls herself.
But
also, they lost $23 billion for homeless people just in California.
Yeah, but nothing's going to change.
billion.
We can talk all we want. Yeah. Nothing's going to change until people start voting for their city council.
But how, Brian?
You get involved in city politics.
You can't find any information about these people.
That's the problem.
So you'll try to look up the person who just goes to their website.
I know.
You think on their website they're talking about how they're socialists or anything?
Well, now they're changing. So, now America. So there's also a coalition of 5,000 people.
You can't even get people to vote for president. How are you going to get them to get involved in city council?
The point is that getting involved in city politics is going to affect your life way more than voting for a president. Way more.
But it's way more complicated.
So out of 77,000 eligible voters in Santa Monica, 20,000 voted for city council members.
Yeah.
And that's not good enough.
And most of these chimps just go, I vote for red or blue.
Yeah, they're not looking into it.
They don't look into it. There's no way to look into it. It's too hard to find.
But there's a coalition of business people who are so done, and they are forcing resignations. The deputy mayor of our city, Los Angeles, the deputy mayor under Karen Bass is being investigated by the FBI for making a bomb threat. Okay?
So taking a little break because today's episode of The Fire Kid with Jeff Dye is brought to you by Viva Zen. Sometimes when the day winds down, your body's still wired. Grabbing a drink isn't always the best solution if you want to stay sharp the next day. Viva Zen's Relax Unwind Shot is plant-based way to decompress using kava, GABA, and other common herbs without alcohol. Good, man. Heavy sedatives or next day grogginess. Ditch all the alcohol, sedatives, grogginess. We don't do that here. We tried it here after a long day of workouts, 5 a.m. wake up time. All right. Within 20 minutes, your tension's dropped without losing focus or energy. It just takes the edge off, all natural. Vivazin has been trusted over 12 years with over 600 million servings sold. Every batch is independently lab tested for quality and consistency. So right now you can try a free 3-pack and relax and unwind shot. Just cover shipping. We got you. All right, listeners and viewers, you can claim your free 3-pack with Viva Zen Relax and Unwind by using the link in the episode description. Just cover the shipping and experience the difference for yourself. Enjoy.
That's who the deputy mayor is.
If you worked at Starbucks and your till was short by $23, and they said, why is your till short by $23? And you said, I don't know, I lost it, I don't know. You would get written up. Yeah. And if you did it more than once, you would be fired. They lost $23 billion just for homeless in California.
Goes, I don't know.
I'm just upset about it as you are. No, you're not. And also,
it's called the homeless industrial complex.
That means
there's money in it.
They could have given $500 $200,000, if my math is correct, to every homeless person in the state of California, which isn't what they were going to do with the money anyways.
No.
But
there's
even
money in it.
Even the money you give to fix it doesn't fix it.
But there's money in running the homeless infrastructure. It doesn't go to the homeless people.
Yeah.
It goes to the lawyers, goes to all the actors.
Goes to everybody else.
Yes.
Yes.
So
That's
there's
the
money
problem.
to it. So until people start voting in actual conservatives who are pro-business. and
I wouldn't
understand
trust
that-
Gavin Newsom with my.
Well, Gavin Newsom.
I wouldn't let him watch my dog.
But
Oh, yeah,
listen-
seriously. I
listen
mean,
to him.
literally a
Let alone the
bozo.
state
But
of
listening to
California.
that guy talk about what it's like to run it, and Schwarzenegger said the same thing. You have no power as a governor. Good luck.
He made
Good luck doing
himself. He
anything.
used tax dollars to give himself a bust of his head to put down at the. You know that? Like if you Google that, he literally like in the last few months, while everyone's houses are just in dust. In the Hollywood, which is like the whole point of Hollywood, used to be like that's where show business was ran.
Yes.
And now all their houses are on fire. And he made a bust of himself so that he'll be remembered.
He's realizing they had to talk with him and said, "Hey, if you don't swing a little right, if you're not Democrat,
Oh no!
heavy Republican,
No one had to talk with him. No, he looked at his approval rating,
Yeah.
and he looked at just his overall. He started a podcast like I'm going
Dude,
to talk to people on the
I
right.
wanna be on that
And Charlie
podcast
Kirk lit
so bad.
his ass up.
But it was good for him.
I want to be on that podcast so
That'd be
bad.
great.
I was
It
like,
was good
please.
for him.
I'm just a comedian. I don't hope he doesn't look into any of it.
The best of the start of it. Newsom, he's trying to fucking play nice and he can't because he's a reptile.
Yeah.
And he goes, Charlie Kirk, my son's a big fan.
Right.
He goes, really? How old? He was 12. He goes, cool, man. Why didn't you hear? I'd love to meet him. He goes, he's in school. I go. Charlie Kirk goes, well, you shut schools down for
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
You couldn't have a day off. And Newsom goes,
What I loved about that also is it revealed that Newsom was even lying about that.
Yes.
Because he was like, yeah, man, my son, he never really gets like that. But like, he was so excited to have you on that I was having you on. It's like, but if he was, then you would let him, like when Piers Morgan had Jordan B. Peterson on his show.
Yeah.
His sons were like, that's the one guest. And Piers Morgan made that a verbal like thing to Jordan Peterson being like, my sons never really care
they don't
about the
care.
guest. And you got to meet him before the show and it's almost like Gavin Newsom saw that and was like, that was an endearing moment to the guest.
100%. It's all
maybe
fake.
I'll say that to Charlie Kirk
It's
to
all
like
fake.
put him over.
It's all fake.
It's all trash.
fake. He's just trying to save face. It's too late.
Yeah.
He's fucked.
Definitely. But there hasn't been enough blowback on these fires.
I know.
It's like,
Have you gone down Palisades?
do you know that both?
No.
Wait, do you
Don't know how. Have you gone on Palisades?
Yes.
So if you go through Palisades right now, it's one lane, but a lot of the baseball dads work down there. They do all the construction. They clearing all the houses.
Yeah.
And so they're in on it. I go, it'll be back in what, like 3 years? And they looked at me and they went, oh, buddy, it won't be back to somewhat normal.
10
You're looking 10 years.
And by the way, you know how they said they were going to speed up the permit stuff?
They didn't.
That's bullshit.
It's all
That
gone
didn't happen.
because of this.
That didn't happen.
Money.
So do you know that not one but two of the reservoirs were empty?
Yeah.
Even after they knew that State Farm was canceling 60% of their insurance, like State Farm was like, this is a major fire hazard. The guy I had on my podcast yesterday was talking to Karen Bass. She was getting on the plane. He goes, don't get on this plane. This is such a bad look. And she was like, no, I'm only going for 2 days. She goes, you're going for
She's
6
such
days.
a piece of shit.
Yeah, she's trash. That's another one
She'll
of
be
those
out
funny
soon.
things that like how liberals always like the things they claim they hate, they eventually end up doing. So like when you used to say fake news, like when Trump would say fake news, you were like a redneck idiot
Yeah.
for claiming that there was fake news. And now that's the entire strategy
whole
of the
campaign,
left.
yeah.
Is that you like even what you just said, the reservoirs were empty. They'd be like, that wasn't real. You're spreading misinformation.
was real.
It's like it was. We have
They were
videos of it.
both empty and the fire hydrants actually were not working.
But the left is in their own tail. Like they did a whole survey of just left, right, everyone. 90% of Americans don't approve of transgender in sports. They
Right.
don't. But the left keeps running. They won't give it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
They
Well,
refuse-
their whole
they're
strategy is
too
now
into
the
it.
things they
okay,
used
but
to
a
hate.
lot of that is also the way elections work. You got to get in the nitty gritty. So you will not get the support of an important coalition. This is the idea, which was we won't support you unless you're all in on the transgender thing. That's why you'd have Kamala Harris,
Yeah.
who could give a fuck, going, yes, and for illegal immigrants in jail, they got gender affirming care. She had to say that. Otherwise, what happens is they come out against you.
You don't get the
that
funding.
money.
But
Now, what's interesting about all
you're
of
never
it-
going to have
all-
power
but what's
because no
interesting
one's
is
voting
that-
for him.
Right. None of it worked.
None of it
They
worked.
had all of Hollywood.
Right.
So did you see the Twitch
Now the Democrats
streamer?
are supporting MS-13.
Why don't they just
But
fish for
wait.
truth instead of votes?
Yeah, but do you know what the Biden administration was paying
Yeah.
They literally paid every Twitch streamer.
Of course.
They were giving them thousands
TikTok,
of dollars
yeah.
to do ads
Right.
and be pro-Biden.
Yeah, I know.
And it still didn't work.
Liberals used to be anti-war, and now they're warmongers who like literally pick a side in the war and then warmonger for it and call it bullying and call it genocide instead of just saying like, hey, maybe no war would be good.
Yep.
Well,
like
I,
that,
have,
like
I have
we-
a different point of view on all that. That's a little
They
bit
used to
naive.
be anti-big pharma, and now they're like, hey,
Take the
go get the
vaccines.
vaccines and trust Pfizer and trust Johnson and Johnson.
Hold on. This is really reductive. Big pharma is really, really important in this country. They push us way beyond our biology, and they come up with drugs and therapies that save lives, and especially children's lives, all the time. And they spend billions of dollars doing it and lose a lot of money.
Yeah, but
So
doesn't
this
mean there's not a dark. No, that doesn't mean there's not
But
bad
it's,
to
both
it.
can be true at the same time.
Correct, Brian.
Both can be true at the
Correct.
same time. But this bashing of big pharma is
It is a big
silly.
deal.
It's
You,
silly.
you can bash Big
Brian.
Pharma,
No,
you
though,
can't.
and you can
Brian.
You can bash. You can say
you can bash
You need
COVID.
to know. Yes. Yes.
Brian,
that's
You
big
need-
pharma,
You
Brian.
need to know
I think
where they're
that they
off
shouldn't
and
be
where they're
pilling
good.
up your children. Anytime your kids have some learning disability or some sort of thing, I don't think you get to put a big stupid name on it and then say, hey, you better be giving your kid these pills. You better be giving them this. They can't focus.
Jeff, yes.
Give them
yes,
Ritalin.
Jeff,
Any
yes.
kid that can't pay attention, which is just kids. They're
Yeah,
hyper.
yes, but no.
Let's crank them full of big pharma's nonsense.
Yes.
You don't think there's a money movement behind
yes,
that?
Yes, but no. Big pharma also does a lot of good.
Every
does a lot of
every girl in our stupid city, like her brain turns off if you bring up God or a higher power or anything religious. But yet they talk about their therapist
let me just-
like the
what I'm
therapist is the
No,
the,
what I'm-
the answer to all of life's problems.
I agree with all that. I'm
And
just
that's
saying,
all a product
I
of
agree
big
with all that.
pharma
No,
being God
No,
now.
it's not. No, it's not. It's not.
It
It's
is.
not. Big pharma. So if you look at the contribution to things like childhood leukemias, curing hepatitis C, stem cell therapy and gene therapy, which has been revolutionary in how we deal with cancer.
But you can up it to that point too. You can also look at the increase of autism. From
I'm
Big
not
Pharma.
even
All this
talking
shit.
about
you
these
can't.
big
Yes, you
things.
can.
No, you
100%.
can't.
I'm talking about
That is-
every
that is-
vaccines.
No, Brendan. No, Brendan Schaub. You cannot. That has been
Hold on.
absolutely debunked. 100%
who?
debunked from every good scientist. And Mr. Wakefield, who went to jail, lost his license for fudging the MMR vaccine and saying that it caused autism and couldn't replicate anything he did in the lab, and of course then was publicly disgraced. Still out there talking. And you've got two children who died of measles in
cares about
Texas
publicly
because people aren't
disgraced?
getting vaccine.
Publicly disgraced means
Peter
nothing.
Attia,
We all know that.
who's a great doctor, and any great doctor worth his salt will tell you. Now, there is something called vaccine injury, but that doesn't mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't want.
I'm not saying get rid of all
Yeah.
vaccines, but
Yeah.
what can we attribute to the increase of autism?
So they're
what are we doing?
isolating genes. They're isolating a lot of genes. Autism is an umbrella term. There are 1,000 factors that go into autism. 1,000.
That's kind of the problem with it.
And so the idea of laying it at vaccines is simply.
So you can't even
not
look
true.
into it.
We've
It has-
looked,
it has-
we've looked into it. See, you and I and you, we're all, you know how we're doing, you know what we're doing right now?
Bro
And
science?
yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to know this. Whether it's Rogan, whether it's you, whether it's
No.
me, all of us on podcasts, when we start talking this way, guys.
I don't have to be a scientist.
Scientists are doing
No.
this. Scientists are going.
I don't have to be a scientist, Brian, to know that when
I
I,
know, but
watch
those
a
same
baseball,
scientists-
when I watch a baseball game, there's 75 fucking commercials going. Ask your doctor if Blaglacaline is
Yes.
great for you. Ask your doctor if it's
the
a
funding.
machine,
Yes. Yeah.
and they are trying to pump us full of
Yes.
pills
What I'm trying to
for
say is this.
money
Yes.
instead of teaching us to meditate, exercise,
Eat healthy.
eat
Yeah.
well. Treat people
Yes and no.
nicely.
Yes and
They
no.
want
Yes
us to
and-
just be
yes.
medicated fucking
Yes, I
idiots.
know, but there are
They're
people-
even getting in on marijuana. Like
I-
they're teaching your kids to be drug addicts
Listen.
and normalizing it.
Again, yes, in some cases, eat well, take care of yourself. In other cases, there are very tough diseases out there.
Right, and
100%.
that's good
100%.
That big
to work
pharma
on.
helps with.
But why are they pitching me on dick pills and depression
people want
pills
them. Because
and
they work.
drugs
Because they
and
work.
all these different things?
Because they work. Because
Ask
by
your
the way,
doctor. No, my doctor should be telling me. I'm not asking my doctor.
Because science does help with pain. because
Yeah.
science does help with depression.
Hey, B, I think
Science
it's
does
their
help.
own fault why people lost trust in vaccines and
Yes.
in big pharma.
Yes.
It's not. I didn't do anything.
Well,
Do you know what
It's them
hippies-
lying about
legacy
COVID.
media,
It's all that.
legacy
All that.
media,
But
the
the way
Democratic
this
Now who
Party.
pays
started-
legacy media?
That's right.
Right, but the way this started was literally me saying that like liberals, hippies,
Yeah.
products of sun children, free
Yeah,
love
I know what you're
people,
saying. I know what
they
you're
all used to be like, we don't need anything except each other, and like we need to open our minds and like hear each other out, and like maybe we should talk instead of shooting each other, or maybe we should
Right.
talk instead of going to war, and that's all been thrown out. Now you pick a side in the war and you go, well, they did this and historically this, and they go back 100 years to find a good argument of why they're slaughtering children in the streets. Like it's a wrong way to look at things. And now
You
to
talking
just
about
go,
the Gaza war?
I'm just talking about in general. Picking a side in a war is not what I do.
But see, I don't think they're picking. I think they're choosing money overall.
I would
think
say
it's
this,
just
Jeff.
all about
Yeah.
money.
No.
All big pharma, the legacy media.
No, I don't think
all
so.
this
I don't
shit's
think
all
so.
about
I don't
money.
think it's all about money. But I will say this: I think there are a lot of people who are just like us who want to get to the truth and do well in the world. I think money plays a part in a lot of things.
I would say
The
everything.
problem is, let's just take the Palestinian Gaza thing. Man, there was a very interesting debate with Dave Smith and Douglas Murray because Dave Smith was coming at it and he made a very good point. Dave was basically saying, I may not be an expert. And this
Which you
is to your
don't have
point.
to be to
Now
talk
watch.
about any of this
But
stuff.
he can say this. He said, but I also don't want to live in a world where the response to children being buried under rubble and dying and being tortured to death
On both sides, by the way.
thousands. I don't want the response to be, well, that's just the way the world is, right? We all go, man, I wish,
ain't
can we
right.
do something different?
Yeah.
Now, remember in the Middle East, there's a great, I always quote this saying by Daryl Cooper. It is a part of the world where people had to forego who they could be for who they had to be. And when you're in a war, or you're in that kind of a situation with that conflict that goes back to when Moses had a parting of the ways with the Pharaoh, it's been a brutal part of the world.
Right.
What's the answer? I don't know, man.
But no one does.
No
Yeah.
one does.
And here's
I
my
haven't heard
problem
any
with
good
it,
answer.
is that we
No.
don't know. These fuckers have been fighting forever, and now a college student holding the Stanley Cup in their tent on the front
Yeah.
porch of $1 million tuition bill is going, here's my take.
Yeah.
And it's like, can they both just grow up? You could find 10 reasons why both sides are correct in this war.
Well, then what do you do?
In almost every
Sometimes
war.
I said this to my friend. I go, sometimes I just find myself shaking my head and saying a prayer because I don't
Correct.
really know the answer, dude.
Yeah.
I really do that.
I'm not saying I know the answer. What I am saying is it's so immature.
I don't think Americans should fund these wars. That's my answer.
Somebody else would though, right? So
Perfect.
the problem
And that's
Let
fine.
'em.
They're cool.
No, it's not cool because what would happen is it would be so much worse in a lot of cases. And every time we create a vacuum, the problem with politics, geopolitics, is when you create a vacuum, you will be drawn right back into it. And that's exactly what happened in the Middle East. You might ignore this group called Al Qaeda until they fly planes into your fucking city.
Or do a 30-year war in Afghanistan and get nothing out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, but
You could do that. Or you can fund Ukraine, who's going to lose anyways, and keep throwing money at them.
Well, Ukraine's a different story too. It's like
I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at all your tax-paying money's going to this complete bullshit that has nothing to do with us, and it's not going to get fixed. Let's take another little break here, then we'll jump right back in the Jeff Dye episode, because this episode of The Fighter and the Kid is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game, shifting a little money here, a little money there, hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. It's pretty easy. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for your car insurance. They'll help find you options within your budget. It's that easy. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. Progressive.
it's the larger question is where has the United States intervened and where has it been okay? Where has the United States
We only
intervened where
intervened
it
for
hasn't?
the better of the interest of the politicians, right?
well,
it's not. It
No,
it doesn't affect you.
No, there's a lot.
Ukraine doesn't
There's a
affect
lot of
you.
scholarship that goes into. There's a lot of things. There are people who are isolationists, and there are people who said we don't have a choice. We've got to get involved. And there is a lot of merit to both. And if you were sitting there listening to smart people talk about that, and in fact, cabinet rooms where they had these debates, we'd be scratching our heads because a lot of times it's like we had to deal with containing Soviet aggression for the better part of the entire Cold War.
That's what they've always pushed us, right? Always
But that's
pushed
true.
that.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
It was a real Cold War. But Ukraine, I'm not going to get into it. But
my whole thing is we're sending all this money overseas, all this money.
Well,
how are we doing?
We make money.
How are we?
No, we make money.
I know, but how are we doing here?
no, but we make money on that, right? So you know
well,
how that
that's why I'm
works.
saying that's why they're doing it.
No, I mean,
we don't make
our
money.
economy makes money. So watch this.
Yeah, they
ain't that
put money
gross?
back down.
Yeah, no. So when they say
There's so much money in
okayed
war.
$4
That's why
billion,
they do it.
when they go, we okayed $4 billion to Ukraine. Do you know why our politicians on both sides of the aisle are like, you know why that is? It's not just because some people are very anti-Russian and think we should
The
maintain
manufacturing
Russia.
here, they pay them.
It's all
they send it up.
you
gross
got to
too.
hire American companies.
I think that's
to
gross
build those
too.
munitions and all
It's
that.
disgusting.
I'm pro-America, not our government.
Well,
And
loyalty
so-
to my country always, to my government only when it deserves it. That's Mark Twain.
Right. But that's my point, is that like I can look at this and not have any answers while still going gross. It's
yeah.
gross.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you say that, there are people that have to make decisions, right? So Donald Trump has to make a decision, and usually
That's what he signed up
any
for.
president historically will say, when I made a decision, a lot of people got saved and a lot of people died. And it's the old Alan Watts who said, us Europeans, us Americans, or us Europeans who try to make the world better by turning everything on its right side. We come in and we go, we got to make this better. The minute you do that, the minute you try to improve the world
Nightmare.
and you turn everything up, so these fucking things are upside down. Let's turn them right side up.
affects
Well, there's another
whole other
upside
half.
down on
Yeah.
this side,
Yeah, sure.
and that's the biggest frustration.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't
I just
figure it
think
out. in here.
like remember
Yeah,
COVID?
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
early COVID?
Yeah.
When like there would like be some guy like my dad at a grocery store and he's like not wearing a mask and everyone's flipping out.
God.
He's going, you gotta wear a mask.
Guy like
So
me.
and he's like, it's not a law. You can't make me this. And then there's some woman wearing a space suit, and she's filming him like, you're not wearing your mask. I'm putting this on the internet. And he's like, shut up, boy. And she's like, girl, and whatever. And you just see this whole thing, and now that you might identify more with the guy like my dad, or you might identify more with this lesbian in a space suit. But I'm watching it going, can you both just fucking grow up?
I will say
we
this,
share this Whole Foods.
No, but Jeff,
And- but this is how
conservatives
I
were less of an asshole. Conservatives were on the right
it's
side.
a metaphor, Brian.
I know.
Yeah.
My point is, we both share this Whole Foods, and it's like
You wear your spacesuit.
Certain
You don't wear
point,
your mask.
Grow
Leave us
up.
alone. Yeah,
and that
100%.
how long is the Middle East gonna slaughter each other?
100%.
And I don't feel like a racist saying, "Grow the fuck up."
Yeah, 100%.
They can't even
It's
go into like
25.
some verbal war room and just get to the bottom of whatever their god's problem is.
Yeah.
Do we have to bring in nice people who want to like party at a nightclub and
Yeah.
like kill their children?
but
it's like grow up
what it
and
is,
settle
though?
these things with words.
But it's what's fucked up about the world is that it takes a very small group of sociopaths to ruin it for all of us. So like a lot of times it's, if you look at history, it's a small motivated group of fucking shitheads that ushered in the communist revolution and killed
Right.
so many people.
But we cry about slavery that was abolished in our country like 100 years ago. What, daily on the internet?
Yes.
But we're not upset with the Middle East for
We're privileged
warring for
Americans.
thousands of
No.
years. Like,
We're
grow
privileged
up.
Americans.
What are
Yeah.
people doing? There's a great quote. I don't know. I saw it in some stupid movie, so I don't. It's not from a book, but it's like war is just old men talking and young men dying. And how
facts.
many people have to fucking die before you just go, maybe there's a better way to do this?
Like if you had kids, would you ever let your kids go into the military?
Yes, I would.
Would you?
Yeah, because it's noble, but not because I like it.
If we were in the, let's say there's another Afghanistan or false weapons of mass destruction,
Yeah.
your son's like, I'm going over there to fight. And you're like, buddy, we've seen how this goes. There's
Yeah.
no weapons of mass destruction. We're not in harm here.
I know.
They're never going to get to us. But you're going to go out there and die for that?
I wish I would have. I wish I would have enlisted. I really believe that. I think it's good for you to have purpose and meaning. And
I think
that,
the
yeah.
military experience is one of the best things you can do.
Yeah.
I think dying in a war, it's
tough.
That doesn't make a difference.
Yes,
I know.
And you're gonna, and I'm all about military.
Yeah.
My whole family's military. Love military. But I'm saying if there's a current war, if my two kids were like, we're gonna go fight
Yeah.
this
I
war
got
in
some
Ukraine,
questions.
I
I
would
got
go.
some hard
Hold
questions.
on.
Yeah.
Can we go through some? I'm with you.
Yeah, I got some questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Can you be
that's-
stationed in
that's the-
Hawaii?
Right.
You know?
That's the
Yeah.
benefit. That's the benefit of learning from your mistakes.
Yes.
Understanding history.
Yeah.
And really looking at how it happened and who was responsible.
Because imagine if Finn went to the military and died in the Afghanistan
can't think of
war.
anything worse.
You'd go, for what?
Can't think of anything worse.
Oh, but they were terrorists. They were going to come here. No, they weren't.
No.
No, they weren't.
No.
No, they weren't.
And that's such an important thing to really understand. that's why it's so important to understand the meaningful difference between things, understand the difference between a good idea and a bad idea. Understand that's why I'm a conservative. I stand on certain principles because I think the left gets it so wrong and ultimately turns tyrannical. The way they handled COVID, they should be punished for that, et cetera, et cetera. Their whole gender ideology, which was a lie.
I'll just take an apology.
All of that. Yeah.
I don't even need them to be punished. I would like them just to go, oh yeah, we played
My
that
bad.
wrong.
But
Yeah.
the next time
my
you
bad. We
see
fucked
it,
up.
we
My
didn't
bad.
know.
The
And
next
I'll
time
go,
you
that's a
see
good
it, you
answer.
Like if
you know.
Newsom came out, I was like, my bad. I kind of fucked the whole
Right.
thing up. I had this
Yeah.
person in my ear.
Yeah.
I shut down schools.
Oh, I love that.
But my father used to always say this. My father used to say, don't fall for the fact that it's just, well, it's this or that. There is an answer.
Yeah.
And there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer.
Donnie.
And sometimes it's really hard to find. But it's really hard to know the difference. Sometimes it's really easy to make comparisons.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to understand where Charles Murray is right and where Dave Smith is right,
Zippo.
or
Yeah.
where both are wrong. Right?
Well, it's okay to be wrong, but just like be like, oh, I was wrong. Like that's okay. We're all
cool with
allowed
that.
to be wrong. I've been
Well,
wrong a million times, but then I just go, yeah, I was
unless
wrong.
people die.
I was wrong on this.
I know, but like
podcast.
Fauci could have said, hey man, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And I had all these people telling me what's best, and so I just
I
went
feel
with
like most
mine.
Americans go, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you keep doubling
Correct.
down, we're like,
Correct.
bro,
Correct.
And that's what pisses me off.
piece
Correct.
of shit.
Yeah,
bud.
because it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah,
but
you
like
didn't.
just,
You didn't tell us about gain of function research and how you guys were funding the Wuhan lab, et cetera.
Yeah,
et cetera.
If he was like, man, I was funding this fucking lab. They told me I wouldn't get out, busted out. All this shit
remember when
happened.
you were
I
called
don't know how
a-
to deal with
you're
it.
a racist if you say you're a
Yeah.
racist if you say the lab leak is.
Yeah.
That's why.
Dude,
that's why they've lost all their
how many friends
credibility.
you lose during I'm going back to the COVID thing. How many friends you lose during COVID?
Dude.
I went,
Dude.
oh my God. And you know me, I was like ready to storm the Capitol. Dude, my shit, I was like, oh, I'm not anything like you guys. All our comedy friends, I went,
Yeah.
oh, buddy, I can never talk to you again.
I know.
Not because you're
And
on
you
the
never
left.
did.
No, I never talked to them again. There's so many people that you guys know. I'm out, man. You're not my foxhole.
Well, you're a
Because when the
bitch.
shit,
'Cause you're a bitch.
Correct. And when the shit when the shit hit the fan, all you guys scoured and you wore your
know.
mask, got the shot, you started preaching against all my friends. Dude, we're out. You're
I
out.
got a lot of hate during that chapter of my
same,
life. Yeah.
Same.
I remember people publicly being like, and Jeff's having people at his house. I'm like, I'm going crazy over here.
Yeah.
I'm in a house
we
with
were doing the podcast. People yelling at us. We're like,
I was
oh.
in my house with alcohol problem and guns.
Me
and
too. I was
living alone,
alcoholic.
dude. I'm like,
I
I
was a bona
can't
fide
be-
alcoholic during COVID.
Dude, I had
and also, the one positive, like you became a star out of all this COVID nonsense and bullshit. The thing that it brought like the fight back into me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like I kind of lowered it during comedy. I was like, no, I'm the funny. I'm not mean. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Not that I was ever mean, but I was like, no, I can't really fight. And dressing all
Yeah.
gay
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit. And then
He would, like,
COVID
open his
happened,
legs.
and I was like, oh shit. And I have two young boys. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, they need a man.
100%.
And so I'm at coffee and I was going there before the studio in Santa Monica every day. And then the mask, I'm like, God, I'm not wearing a mask. And I go in, I'm like the usual. And the security goes, you got to put your mask on, you eat that coffee. And I was like, oh, you woke up the demon.
Yeah, you don't want this.
I went, bud, I'm going to get that coffee. I'm not going to put my mask on. He goes, no, you're not. I go, guarantee you I am. And he goes, no, you're not. I went, I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to grab that coffee and I'm going to meet you in the back of the parking lot. And we're going to see how it goes for you. He goes, okay, cool. See you there. I'm like, oh shit,
Perfect.
he's down. Big black dude, like 6'6". In my head, I'm like, I'm just going to kick him in the fucking head and drive off with my
Yeah.
coffee.
Also,
That's
you
what I'm
know
doing.
you can take him.
Oh, of course.
That's the beauty of
course,
what, like,
course.
Kinda nice,
I
yeah.
can't do that.
real quick too.
So I was kind of nervous.
I'd have to be like, I'm going to shoot you with a gun.
Well, in my head, I'm like, here we go, man. Let's see how this goes. Dust off the old fighting mitts.
Yeah.
And I go back there. He wasn't there.
Nothing.
And I went there every single day during COVID.
Love
and he was
it.
just, I'd walk in and he'd just turn his head.
Yeah, of course.
I'd say, thank you.
He might have known. They might have said, "Hey, he's a UFC fighter."
yeah.
The barista was like, no. Like looking like,
Yeah, that barista saved his life.
Yeah, saved
I was
his
like,
life.
oh,
Such a-
Saved you
cool.
some money too, actually.
He's
You know what?
such a bad situation.
I would actually shake his hand now. I'm like, oh, thanks, dude. I
Yeah.
lost it, and you brought it back out of me.
There was
For
that giant- there
I've
was
been
that-
down to fight in a long
Yeah.
time, and I was gonna snap your.
There was
neck.
that giant guy who's really strong. We love, but I guess he had no idea. He couldn't figure out why you were tapping him that quickly.
I'm trying to think which guy.
Our big handsome friend who's very strong.
You can edit it, his name, right? Just go ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
And couldn't figure out. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" It's like Brennan was like, "Dude, like I can just do this all day,
Yeah.
every 2 seconds." Anyway,
Well,
sorry. Well, I
Get
got
Brian fired up about politics.
I got a little fired
You got
up.
to catch a flight where you head back to
Austin.
Back home.
Yeah, baby.
Can't
Going
wait to
back
get
home.
out there.
I wish you'd come out.
I would love to.
You can
I just-
stay with me.
Let's say, like, I hope this year is more financially lucrative, and then I'll just get a place.
I think you're going to be very wealthy, buddy.
Yeah,
and I
think
called it
it'll play.
first.
It'll be good.
We're always right. Pretty much. We've had some
Sometimes.
pretty big famous people on.
I'll bet on Jeff.
Oh yeah,
My
me too.
man, thank
I will
you.
too.
Miami Improv coming up. Oh, Nashville Zanies got some
Great
two
club,
shows
dude.
there.
These are great
We
clubs.
added a show.
Good for you, dude. So you're selling out. You're selling well.
It's been great. Yeah, I did the one show I didn't sell out this year was this giant place in Atlantic City, but I was happy with the turnout because
Atlantic City's tough. Was it a casino?
Yeah, it was like a 2,000 seater or something.
Dude,
I
they
was
put
like,
me
this
with
is
it
too
at the
big.
Borgata, and I looked at the poster, and they had fucking what's his name, the Italian guy. You're not embarrassed.
Oh, Sebastian,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They had his sign on there before me. I'm like,
Oh yeah, no.
oh, well,
Yeah,
this isn't
it's
good.
tough.
Yeah.
Well, I think we sold like 700 tickets, which I was happy about,
For
and they were happy
casino's
about.
great.
But
For casino's
like,
great.
I was like, man, this is looking light. They showed the graph where they show all the open seats, and I was going,
know, dude. I know.
What's the Mississippi Moon Bar?
no idea.
Skyline's great. Jacksonville.
The Truist Arena gig, all those ones are me with. There's a reason there's no link to buy tickets on those, is because that's me with Greg Gutfeld.
Oh,
So
dope.
it'll be Greg and then like a kind of a panel of his like
Oh, cool.
rotating guys. So that
I love when you're on Gutfeld.
Those are fun, man.
I love when you're on Gutfeld.
You should be on it.
Yeah.
I want to get on.
That'd be
it.
dope.
You want on it?
Yeah,
I'll talk to him. Yeah.
I'll do it.
All right, kids. Go see Jeff Dye. He's all
Please do.
over. Brian's
I'll
in
see you
Eugene,
at-
Oregon.
Yep, at Olson's Run. You're also.
All right, kids. It's the Firing Kid with Jeff Dye. We're out.
Well, I run into our boy from Joy Mode, Shane, who owns this.
When he
company.
ran in, he goes, man, how's that swamp steak doing?
And I said,
Not
"Welcome
good.
to the swamp."
You said, welcome to the
Look,
swamp.
Joy
Swamp's a
Mode-
little lackadaisical.
Well, he's a guy. What I liked about Shane is that he works out. He stays in shape. He's all about this.
and he
all
cares about
health.
his wiener.
This is an all-natural supplement designed to enhance blood flow. It gives you firmer, more reliable erections.
But what if I'm taking the stuff over the counter?
You
And
can
what,
go ahead
What
and do
about
that.
from the Rhino 5000 at the gas
Yeah,
station?
see how that works
Horrible
out.
side effects.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, I don't know. Read the horror
Oh,
stories.
Lord.
Look, you mix this with a pack of water. I mean, you mix the pack with water. Feel the effects within 45 minutes. Okay. You can also use it if you want to go work out and get more vascular, get blood flow going. Okay. It's a straightforward, effective solution.
Dude, proven ingredients, unlike prescription options that involve doctor visits and refills, Joy Mode provides a straightforward, effective solution. Join over the 200,000 bros who trust Joy Mode to boost their sex game without the side effects.
Give them 30% off a subscription order. Go ahead.
Oh, dude, how about I give you 20% off single purchases, 30% off subscription orders? That's tryjoymode.com. tryjoymode.com. If you can't spell try joy mode, probably shouldn't be having sex. That's tryjoymode.com. Use the code FIGHTER.